say we are the champions again. The fans deserve everything. It's one of the best days of my life.
They had already taken you to their hearts, but look behind you. Look at what you've done for them.
I don't have any words. It's one of the best days of my life. They deserve it. I said, for them, this is like the World Cup, you know. People's died, people's growing up, and they have not seen Newcastle champions, and now they are seeing, you know, we are here to make history. I'm very happy. My first year as a captain of this club, and that is one of the best days. The team, the fans, the owners, we deserve this, man. We deserve. Look at this. This is unbelievable.
And just lastly, look, you came here without a word of English, maybe not knowing so much about the club, but you've made yourself a Newcastle hero. Your boys were born in the city. How much do you care about them?
This is my second home. Since when I signed for the club, from the relegation, Champions League, and now champions. I think we are making history. Someday when I will leave this club, I want the fans sing my name the same they do to Shearer today. You know, when we have seen him in the telly today, he gave you his power. He texted me before the game. Yeah, that's it. I'm so emotional today.
Well done, you're a hero now.
Thank you.
And listen, rightly, this guy was man of the match. I mean, what a week he's had. Absolutely delighted for him. And here, you know what, when you think about it, an example to every player, not at the top level, up and down the leagues. You think of the journey that man's been on. Man of the match in a major cup final, and also got that England call-up. And, you know, I'm really pleased for him.
Eddie Howe has put an earpiece in, so I'm hoping that he's going to be able to hear us in amongst the cacophony of noise. You can hear me, can you?
Just about.
Just about.
I've got you.
Emotions? Can you put it into words?
Very, very emotional. I've been emotional all day, to be honest, which is very unlike me, sort of around the game day, where we just knew what was at stake today. For all the people here, all the people back in Newcastle, we just wanted to do them proud. We were desperate to try and win the trophy after all the years of hurt, and I'm so pleased, not just with the result but the performance. I thought we deserved the win today.
We've talked a few times during this Carabao Cup campaign. Did it feel different this time? We talked about it feeling very business-like after the semi-final win. You changed a few things coming into the final. Did it have a different feel around it 2 years ago?
It did have a different feel. As I said, it was less emotional, even though I could sense the players were where they needed to be. But it's always dictated by the pitch, the result and the performance, because your perception of what goes on before changes afterwards, if that makes sense. So we've won the game and everything will be reviewed positively, but I did think the preparation was really good. I was very confident the players would perform today.
They will have loads of questions for you. Just before they do, when the Liverpool goal was given and there was still 5 or 6 minutes to go, what is going on in your head? Because you still have to remain cool and calm, but the nerves among Shea and Les and your fans, how do you deal with that?
Yeah, that was tough. I mean, it sort of going through my head was loads of different things. Extra time, because any sub you make then carries on. But we always make it difficult for ourselves. It was never going to be a 2-0. You're not comfortable, but relatively comfortable. So when the goal went in, I thought it was a handball. I couldn't understand how it was given, but there you go.
I said before the break, there's a statue of Bobby Robson at the stadium. I think there'll be a statue of you soon after today. I mean, just what you've done for the people in Newcastle, the hurt all those years. I mean, I was there long enough. The pain they've been through, it's just quite emotional talking about when you see their faces today and how they got behind you, I suppose.
Yeah, we were well aware of the history, and we wanted to do the football club proud today. We desperately wanted to perform. We desperately wanted to win. We wanted to score. I mean, it's been so long even since we've scored at Wembley. So all those things, we're trying to break new ground, and I think hopefully this is a turning point for us. I thought we were magnificent today. We showed what we are truly capable of.
And you've always been fantastic at set piece from your Bournemouth days. Today, a big detail in the match was the corners, and obviously Dan Burn with McAllister. Was that something that you felt or sensed and obviously worked on, the way you could get some success today?
It's funny with set plays. We've worked consistently on certain set plays for 2 weeks in preparation for this game. And sometimes they come off and sometimes they don't, but when if you'd seen us in practice, you'd go, they've got no chance.
Well, I saw the first one you tried to play short, made a mess of that one, but the rest of them, you were playing him into Dan Burn. He was huge.
Dan will be the first to admit he hasn't practiced like that. I mean, when he scored it, we were like, me and Jace turned to each other, we couldn't believe it, but he was I mean, I thought all the players were magnificent today, but in particular Dan, I thought he was an absolute colossus for us.
Eddie, where'd you go now? I mean, we know this is the start of the journey in terms of winning the trophy. Where do you want to take this team now?
I just want to enjoy it first, Les, if I can. I'm always about tomorrow. I'm the worst.
Can I just say, you ain't got to worry about that, because for the next 7 weeks you will just be enjoying. There'll just be parties in Newcastle.
I'm going to put the coaching books away for a couple of days.
Good.
That's very rare for me to say, and just try and savour it and enjoy the moment.
Eddie, I mean, looking at the game, you completely overpowered Liverpool. You were quite direct in the game. Was that a deliberate ploy, because maybe the games Liverpool have had and they have looked quite jaded of late?
Yeah, I actually thought both teams were quite direct today. We were direct, we had a game plan, but I thought they were, and I thought we dealt with that really, really well. And I think it was a typical cup tie. No one wanted to make a mistake. There wasn't a great amount of pretty football played, but I thought we were really effective in both boxes.
Just a couple more before we let you go and join in the celebrations. When you played Liverpool, 3 weeks ago, something like that, in the league, did you try and keep your powder dry on some things in that game?
Yeah, I can say it now. Yeah, we did, because we didn't want to show our hand. We didn't want Liverpool to get a glimpse of us, so we changed everything. Obviously, I didn't tell the players that, and we still wanted to win the game. We just tried to do it in a different way.
And Dan Burn, I know you just talked about him there, but he was that first wave of signings, those January signings, which were all about getting the right character. Kieran Trippier, another, in that January transfer window. So much still comes back to that window, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, that window, you could see it behind the scenes, that was really, really tough. We were desperately trying to bring good players in, but most importantly, good characters that we knew could outlive the window. It wasn't just about staying up, although that was number one. It was what happens after the window. You don't want to be left with long contracts and players that you're going to outgrow very quickly. So when you look back now, we did unbelievably well in that window, and that's a tribute to everyone involved.
And when you won the first leg at the Emirates, the first thing you did when the final whistle went, you put your hand next to Jason's and went calm. Did you do the same with the final whistle here?
No, I didn't.
straight
but I think you have to be very respectful of the opposition. I have to say Liverpool were class today.
Well, you went round all the Liverpool players.
Liverpool were class today. I mean, that speaks volumes for them as a football club, how they reacted in that moment, because we've been there 2 years earlier. It's not easy.
Celebrations tonight.
I think there'll be one or two.
Eddie, I've got two that are very desperate to get to the party tonight, and they want to know where it is. Les and Shay, what is it, a big market? Where are you going to be tonight?
Let me tell you, Jamie, you're speaking to the wrong person. JT's the man.
Oh, Jason, he's a bit shy at the moment, Jason. He's in the middle of every photo. He's absolutely loving it out there, isn't he?
He's been first class for me. I can't speak highly enough of him.
I know that.
Right, congratulations. Please, thank you for all the time you give us. Go and enjoy your celebrations. ITV viewers going to leave us very soon, so let's just look at the two Newcastle goals. Jamie Carragher, the set pieces, as Eddie said, they may not have done them very well in practice, but they caused Liverpool problems today.
Well, it shows the detail that's gone into it. He said they've been working on it for 2 weeks, so, with the games in and around that, of course, but the big thing whenever you play against Liverpool is keep the ball away from Virgil van Dijk, and that's what they did. And listen, we can talk about who's up against it, but to score a header from there, it doesn't happen too often. It's a brilliant header, but I do think with the success that Dan Burn was getting through the game, Liverpool could have definitely altered things and changed things on that, but it's a great delivery, and from Dan Burn to put it in from there, it's a brilliant header.
I just think Liverpool got it completely wrong with that setup. When you look at McAllister, he has no idea what to do with him. He's not able to get close enough to block him. It is an absolute mismatch. I wasn't the best in the air, but I certainly know someone that was good. If you've got that situation, for you, that's like Christmas Day, right?
That's what you're hoping for, as a forward, as a defender, someone to turn their back on you and you get a run on them. It's a mismatch, and but then you've got to put it in the back of the net, and that's what Dan Burn did. It was an unbelievable header, fantastic.
Let's just look at the second goal as well. In fact, and Newcastle had one ruled out for offside shortly before Alexander Isak put this in.
Yeah, this is brilliant finish. Jimmy mentioned upstairs about watch Isak's movement. It's well worked down the left-hand side, and if you watch Isak's movement, he just peels away from Van Dijk. A brilliant header at the back post from Murphy, but this is a movement of a top striker. That's why lots of clubs are saying we want Alexander Isak. We just keep an eye on him in the middle of the picture there. Watch the way he moves away from Van Dijk now. Just gives himself a couple of yards, and on his right foot, that's not an easy finish. Watch when it bounces down here, Mark. It's just bouncing up to keep that control, to keep that down. That's a brilliant finish.
And the pace he gets at, Les, he manages somehow to just is really quick to create that pace up. We've got to be quick here, Les.
We were talking about it, but it didn't have a lot of time. It didn't have many touches in the game, but that was the one touch he needed, and it was fantastic.
And the way he wins every duel, that's really sets the foundation for us to be able to perform as well.
When you see this, and obviously you've come into the club, not from the area like down, and you see this, and you feel that emotion, what do you think of all of this?
It's amazing, honestly, and I think this is really just the start. I think we'll see so much more from the fans and how much it means for the people, obviously once we get back to Newcastle and so, but we're all aware of how much it means and how long it's been without a trophy, so for us to be able to give the fans that is amazing. You had one disallowed goal, which you weren't offside actually. It was brilliant because less than 2 minutes later, and you put Newcastle 2 up. Yeah, I think these games are about moments, and you know, it's not necessarily about playing really good as a striker. It's about when you get the chance to be ready and to finish it off.
I was just going to say how you about that strike, because as you said, we were saying about that strike, because as you said, we were saying that was going to be
the start of something great. So the future, I mean, I said off air as well, said about this is the springboard for the club to go on to the next level, to get more trophies, because you have, you know, these fans have deserved this. It's a long wait, 70 years, and you guys have produced today.
Yeah, for sure. I think when you've been without a trophy for such a long time, it can be in the back of your head. Yeah. But obviously when we now won this, hopefully it's just bright days in front of us.
Yeah. Do you... I just want to show you one other thing in that second half, which was you going on an overlap for about 80 yards. But what it highlighted was the intensity that you as a team had from start to finish.
I think we've talked about it before the game, that we've been really slow starting second halves and really invited pressure onto ourselves, so we didn't want to take a backward step. And I think it's more just a mentality. I know the gaffer probably was screaming at us to get back, but
you trying to get your running stats up or something?
So were we. We were screaming at you to get
What's he doing? What's he doing?
We should have slid it in, to be fair.
Dan, as weeks go, it's as good as it gets, isn't it? Getting England called up, win the Carabao Cup, but I've heard there's a little bit of bad news that you're not going to be on the trip to Dubai this week.
I tainted it a little bit, but we're definitely taking England call up.
I won't go as well, eh?
Over
Are you going?
No.
No, I'm not going.
He's going to national as well. I was saying to the lads that would have to make a pact that no one would go on international duty, we'd all go to Dubai, but I'm not trying to do that.
Exactly. Oh, so Thomas, if you can maybe train out there.
Is it tomorrow? When do you join up?
Tomorrow morning.
Right. So you don't get a pass, do you?
No, definitely not. I'll be there early doors, maybe the first one there. 8 o'clock.
How nerve-wracking did you both find the last 10 minutes or so?
I think probably a bit more nerve-wracking for me because I was off the pitch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I felt like there was a situation where there was a handball, and he probably should have blew that, called it straight away. But then it was a goal, and it's always tough to sit and watch. But yeah, I think the lads that came on really handled it well, and obviously the ones who played as well.
I thought we sorted out well, to be fair, the last few minutes, keeping it in the corner. I think we've struggled with that in the past. And I felt comfortable for a lot of it, but you always know when Liverpool have got the quality to get a goal.
Right, take your trophy. Thank you very much, mate. This is what's happening in your changing room at the moment, which hopefully you can see on the screen here.
Let's get the sound up.
You're not allowed any of that.
I'm not allowed that. I'm not allowed that.
But you go back and enjoy your dressing room, get yourselves warm. Congratulations. See you soon, Dan. Thank you, Alexander, as well. And Jamie, as they all go back, saying,
have a great week.
That intensity, Jamie, and that run highlighted probably the difference in the two teams through no fault of Liverpool's coming off the back of Paris Saint-Germain.
Yeah, I mean, I just think physically, you know, under Eddie Howe, Newcastle have been a physical, powerful team, intensity, press and playing with pace. They've probably been a little bit inconsistent this season in terms of how they played in the past years. And they probably haven't come in the best of forms, but they just saved the best until now. Now, Eddie Howe mentioned to us as well that it wasn't a great footballing game. It wasn't. But I think a lot of that was a deliberate ploy from Newcastle, because they're probably looking at Liverpool in the last sort of 3-4 weeks, not themselves really in terms of getting some results, not performing really well, but they just couldn't cope intense. And I think there's a lack of pace in the Liverpool front three. That's something that we can maybe, if we get to, listen, it's not Liverpool's day, it's all about Newcastle, but I think that's shone a light on Liverpool a little bit today, that there's a serious lack of pace at times in certain areas of the pitch. But in terms of physically, set piece wise, duels in the middle of the park, people making runs like Dan Burn, Isaac, Liverpool couldn't cope physically.
It was incredible to hear a manager as well, quite refreshing to say that we didn't want to show our hand in a league game a few weeks ago. And it was a brilliant question from you, Mark, because it was something that you very rarely hear a manager say, because I think Alexander Isak didn't play that day, and the way that they maybe set up, just not showing too much of what they were trying to do. And they've built everything up, because their form leading up to this hasn't been probably perfect. Obviously going out the FA Cup, injuries, but the way they responded to that little bit of adversity, it made no difference to them whatsoever.
Dan